This training focuses on task productivity. If we work 40-hour weeks, that's 160 hours a month, over 2,000 hours a year. That's incredible. The problem is there are challenges to productivity. Multitasking, distractions, and task management are the ones we'll address in this training. Meetings are set for a separate training module, but you need to understand they have a critical role in productivity. Multitasking myths are important, so I've given you a number of statistics, and I'll just scroll through these slides. You have access to them, and you can pick and choose which statistics you want to focus on. The fact that only 2% can actually multitask is a huge statistic. The fact that distractions occur every 10 minutes is huge. The fact that students don't get it, that smartphones make it difficult. The fact that trying to focus on more than one thing causes a 40% drop in productivity. That's amazing. Think about losing 40% of your time. Over 500 hours are lost just in distractions per year. That's incredible. We got to fix that. Multitasking in the car is equivalent of having a blood alcohol content of 0.08. Huge stat. So the point is multitasking is not effective in productivity. Single tasking is what's effective to become productive. So here's 7 ways we're typically unproductive in our work, and I've listed them here, and then I have a slide for each of them. For example, email. You got to decide as a staff what you're going to do with email and how you're going to handle it. You got to decide what you're going to do with clutter. Clutter is a huge productivity hinderer. You've got to eliminate it, and you've got to figure out how you're going to do that. Ergonomics, fatigue, posture, critical. Multitasking we've dealt with. Notifications, you're going to have to decide how you're going to handle those. They are a huge productivity killer. Interruptions, open doors, those are huge productivity killers. Impossibly long to-do list, huge productivity. They stifle productivity. You're going to have to help people understand how to manage their tasks. So distractions cost money, and we've got to get our arms around it. Here's 5 ways you can avoid distractions. Now remember to teach people that you manage tasks, not time. You schedule time, you manage tasks. Just because you schedule time doesn't mean you're getting something done. So we're going to define time, we're going to define tasks, and then we're going to work on time blocking. We're going to teach people how to time block effectively. Time blocking is different than time scheduling. If I say today I'm going to spend 30 minutes on this, I can do it at any 30-minute time. And if I miss the 6 o'clock window, I can still do it later. But if I schedule it at 6 and I don't make it, I likely won't do it anytime during that day. So time blocking makes me commit to getting something effective done, and that's what we want to be working on. We want to get people to improve their productivity by focusing on one thing at a time. So here's some steps. You make a complete task list, you group similar tasks, you prioritize, and you start knocking them out one at a time. Pareto principle is that 20% of your tasks are most important. It's a critical understanding and a principle for people to understand. Parkinson's law says if you give too much time to get a task done, that task will take as long as you give it. Meetings will be dealt with in another module, but you need to understand that meetings are a huge time waster, and we got to figure out a way to get our arms around it. Pomodoro technique is a specific time block method. I love it. I use it. I would love to see you do some work with it. Just do a Google search and it'll give you all the things you need. There's lots of apps that can help you with the Pomodoro technique. As you conclude your training, here's the measurement I'm suggesting. On the left column, you've got different issues with productivity. You've got 3 boxes: ideal, acceptable, and not acceptable. Have your staff define in each of these what's the ideal, what's the acceptable, and what's not acceptable. For example, a cluttered space. It's not acceptable to leave my office on any day and leave my desk cluttered. My desk has to be clean before I leave. And so the acceptable is a clean desk at the end of every day. The ideal is a clean desk throughout the day. So this will give you some idea. Fill this out as a group, and then in the next month, measure your staff to see how effectively they are completing and how they're improving their productivity. This is a critical component to what takes place in becoming more productive.